Hi everyone, my name is Catherine Bowen and I am the CEO of Nextvisor, the Bowen Team Realty, and most recently founder of Women, Faith and Finance. And with over a decade of experience as a financial consultant, I am so thrilled to have you today. So if this is your first time joining us, welcome to our podcast, Grow, Set, Go. Come on. Today, we're going to be talking about the secret. What's the secret? What's the wealth formula? You know, a lot of people always want to know, okay, how does the wealthy think and what do they do? But there's also a component of exactly what formula do they use to make sure that they get to a place in their life overall that is stable, sustainable, and duplicatable. And so I want to share today with you what's that formula. So this formula has few components. Number one, money, right? Obviously, if we want to grow wealth, we need to have money. So in that sense, a lot of people right now are looking for ways to make money, a legitimate way to make money, right? And so a lot of them are growing a business or starting a business. By the way, if you are looking to do that, we can have a serious conversation because I might have something for you, but I can't promise you anything. So anyway, so money. The second thing that we do need to be able to create this wealth formula is time. That's another component. Some people are very impatient. There's nothing that you can grow overnight, right? Nothing is built. Nothing that has been sustainable, nothing that has made an impact truly. It has been built overnight. Would you agree? Right? So you need time, you need patience, you need to take a deep breath and be like, okay, one by one, little by little, poquito a poquito in español, right? So you need time. Then after that, what do you need? What's the third component of this formula? Well, you need plus or minus rate of returns. In other words, interest. You know the name of the game here in the United States is interest? Because no company, no successful company, nor any entrepreneur that I have met in my entire career, doesn't have any interest or rate of returns in their money or their projects, right? So you have to have a way to earn interest on your money. Otherwise, you end up working for money, but your money will never work for you, right? So very important to know the difference. You need the time, yes. You need the money, of course, but you also need a rate of return. After that, there's two other things sometimes people forget, and that is minus inflation and minus taxes. Let's talk about inflation. So I am here in the amazing Georgia Peach. So by the way, if you're watching us from somewhere else, can I encourage you to go and Google what is your inflation rate for your state? Because here for Georgia, it's 10.8% of inflation rate. What does that mean? Come on, you guys, we all know. Like you go to the store, right, and you're buying something, you feel the difference. You can buy much more with $100 as opposed to a couple years ago. That's inflation, right? So what happens is, as you're growing wealth, you also have to take into consideration. You have to put into this equation, how is my money going to grow against inflation? And last but not least is taxes. I am not opposed to paying my fair share amount of taxes, you guys, but I am opposed to paying my unfair share of taxes. And for that, we also have to have a strategy. So we do have a podcast that is going to be all about, taxes and 3 different taxable buckets that some of you might have heard before, some of you might not. So I encourage you to make sure you subscribe, and I know that you're going to find some value. So if you feel that way from me today, I encourage you to go ahead and click subscribe and follow us for some amazing tips, talks, experiences, and we're going to be bringing amazing guests onto our podcast show as well. So make sure we are providing value to you so you can be like, yes, we're going to follow them. All right. Think about all the years okay, that between you and your spouse, if you're married, think about all the years that you have worked and all the thousands of dollars that you have accumulated up until this point. And you have pretty much accumulated all this money. But how much of that money right now, if you will stop working right now, how much of that money will actually work for you, where you will never have to worry about it again? Right? That's a deep question, and please take some serious thoughts onto this. Because if we get to the point that combined, say whatever, you've been on the market 10, 20, 15 years, but your money isn't working as hard as you are, there's something that needs to change. So let's talk about a couple of things. There's three ways of growing, there's three ways of saving money. Right? The very first one is what? All of those type of fixed accounts. This type of accounts, what kind of accounts we're talking about? All the regular savings, certificates of deposit, money market accounts. But you know what? The question sometimes people ask me, can I have too much money in there? Yes. For purposes of taxes, you may. And for purposes in relationship to liquidity, maybe not. A lot of people, you've heard the experts, right? Hey, have at least 6 months to a year of fixed liquid assets. Well, if you're not there yet, can I encourage you, start with 1 month. Because sometimes people don't get to start because they're like, well, I don't feel like it is too much, right? I'm not there yet. And they get discouraged and they never start. Therefore, their life never changes. So if you can start at least for 1 month, just have 1 month on this fixed account, because you know what a fixed account really does? And a fixed account is not meant to grow money. It's meant to provide you liquidity. That's all it is there for. Anything above that threshold of whatever your finances may look like, it will have to be repurposed to a different category, not a taxable, but a different category, which is the variable accounts, right? So we're talking about fixed accounts. Now we're talking about variable accounts. What kind of accounts are those? Well, you guys all know, right? EFTs, cryptocurrencies, all the stock market, options, bonds, right? Everything that has a greater potential of growth or gains, but also some risk. Some people are not in the market for a lot of risk, right? When the market crash and is volatile, what happens? People are not able to recover. So if you are on that structuring of your finances, just know that there's a specific amount of money that you can place in all these different type of accounts, with different types of ways that you can save money. So the third bucket that we're talking about as far as money is all the indexing, right? Maybe you have heard it before, maybe you haven't. So if you haven't, welcome. Thank you, right, for listening in today. So an index type of bucket is another way that you can start saving money. What it does is a type of account that your money doesn't lose nada, right? It's no losses. And you're like, how is that possible? So this type of accounts pretty much have a cap and a floor. So as your money starts to grow, it mirrors what the index, it mirrors what the market is doing. So when the market goes up, your money goes up. When the market goes down, your money doesn't go down. Your money remains the same. It's not earning, but it's not losing either. It's almost like I always like to ask people, imagine if you go and ask your child, hey, would you like to lose? What are they going to tell you? Absolutely not, right? So it's essentially the same thing. How would you like to always win and never lose? I'm just going to say, this is the disclaimer. Be careful on how these accounts are structured, right? You have to have a professional, and we'll love to, for you to consider us as well, but you have to have a professional structuring these accounts properly. Because if you're not structured properly, you essentially just put money down the drain, right? They have to be structured properly. And we are going to do a podcast where we're going to break it down to the T so you know exactly how this works, okay? So that's essentially the indexing, right? Your money goes up, to a cap. When the market goes down, you have a floor. So it goes like a ladder. You're always earning, never losing. Is there a cost of entry for that? Absolutely. Why? Because the IRS obviously want to make sure that if they are going to give you a break on taxes on this type of accounts, there's also going to be a cost of admission to them. Here's the thing. A lot of people, get to hear stuff out there on the market, right? You hear all kinds of different vehicles, all kinds of different advice. And usually what I've seen through all my years in my career, I've seen people tend to just dissect a little part of the information and try to apply it in their lives. Does that work? Maybe, maybe not. Why? Because there is a whole different analysis that has to happen just to make sure that that type of account, that type of strategy is actually going to work for you. I hope, and I don't hope, you know what? I know this is going to be a great value for so many people out there that are looking to truly make a difference in their finances, in their life, in their family. Because you know what? The podcast that we created, Grow, Set, Go, is for that. We have 5 pillars. We want to make sure we talk about family. We want to make sure we talk about faith, right? We want to make sure we talk about finances. We want to make sure we talk about all the health, right? The fitness. And also that we have some fun, right? So stay tuned. Follow us for more. I'll see you next time. Bye. Let's go.